Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Harrison County High School basketball. I'm Jim Swinford, coming to you from Monticello Heights Gymnasium, where tonight the Breds will be taking on the 19th ranked team in the state, the Camels of Campbell County. Well, Campbell County was rocking right along with a record of 11-2 until this past week when they lost a couple of games, falling to Mason County and Lloyd Memorial, both games on the road. The loss to Mason County was especially difficult to swallow as it came on a last-second shot by the Royals. Meanwhile, the Breds welcomed the return of Caden Custard, who dropped in 31 points in a 76-73 win over Scott High School here on the Hilltop last Tuesday. Tonight's contest is a battle between a couple of teams that feel like they've got a legitimate chance of winning the 10th region tournament that starts in a couple of months. This is actually the varsity game, the third of three games in today's competition between Harrison County and Campbell County. So far, things have not gone too well. In the freshman game, the Campbell County freshmen beat our freshmen 57-19. And then in the JV game that just concluded, it was a much closer contest, but once again, the Camels came out on top with their JVs knocking off our junior varsity 45-40. So hopefully the varsity can pick up the slack and get us a win here tonight. Right now, both teams are out on the floor going through their pregame paces. We invite you to stay tuned as we'll come back and take a closer look at both Campbell County and Harrison County. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports on the Cynthia and Hardy's pregame show. All righty, back here on the Hilltop, Harrison County and Campbell County about 11 and a half minutes away from the introduction of the starting lineups. Campbell County, as we said, coming in with a record of 11-4. They're coached by Brent Souter, who is in his first year at the helm of the Camels. He was an assistant coach for the Camels since back in 2014 and is a Pendleton County graduate. He takes over for one of the best coaches ever in 10th region history, Eric Russell, who stepped down after 13 years to enjoy some retirement time. Well, just like Harrison County, Campbell County is a veteran team with 5 seniors. The Camels began the season with a record of 11-2, with the only 2 defeats coming to 10th-ranked Clark County and number 3 North Oldham. Campbell County lost their top 3 scorers from last year's team that finished 22-12, but they have barely missed a step. This year, they're led in scoring by senior Connor Weinel at over 14 points a game. He's also the Camels' best rebounder, grabbing nearly 9 boards per game, and so far this season has recorded 6 double-doubles. Weinel started out the season with a bang, collecting 24 points and gathering 15 rebounds in a win at Dixie Heights, which was basically a harbinger of things to come for Weinel. Weinel and junior Garen Jackson are the best shooters on the team, both of them making well over 55% of their field goal attempts. Garen Jackson is also a wide receiver on the Camel football team this past fall. In fact, he was their number 1 receiver, picking up 642 receiving yards in 48 receptions. He also scored 3 touchdowns. Senior Brock Sorgenfry is the best long-range threat for Campbell County, as he's making 40% of his three-point attempts. In fact, as a team, we're going to have to guard the perimeter tonight, because as a team, the Camels are hitting 36% from long range. Tonight, the Campbells will be trying to get their season back on track and avoid a third straight setback. Harrison County, meanwhile, now 4-9 on the season as they've won their last 2 in a row. They had lost 8 straight while Custard had been on the disabled list. In that 76-73 win over Scott High School here last Tuesday, the game was close throughout. In a game that featured 4 ties and 7 lead changes, Harrison County actually had built a 13-point lead in the second quarter, but Scott High School came storming back and tied the game in the fourth quarter with about 3 minutes left to go. However, the Breds were able to hang on at the end when the Eagles missed 2 desperation heaves inside the game's final 5 seconds. As we mentioned before, Custard with 31 points in his return from the disabled list, and the Breds, obviously, with that victory, needed every single point, so good to have Caden back. As Harrison County approaches the second half of the season, the Breds will be looking for some big wins with Custard back in the lineup. All the players on this team improved their stock during Custard's absence, making up for those parts of the game that Caden had taken care of previously, but all members of this team took it upon themselves to get better, and they all did. Now, the thing between now and regional tournament time is to keep improving. Even though Custard is back now does not mean that these guys can slip back into the way they played before. They must do like they did much of the time against Scott High School earlier this week and continue that improvement that we hope will come all the way to a 10th Region Championship, but that's still a long ways to go and a lot of tough competition in the 10th Region. Well, both teams have retired back to their locker rooms to get some final words of wisdom from their respective coaching staffs. What we'll do right now is take a break and then come back and give you the starting lineups of tonight's game between Harrison County and Campbell County. You're listening to the Cynthia and Hardy's pregame show on WCYN Sports. All righty, back here at the Hilltop, Harrison County and Campbell County about to take each other on. Let's take a look at the starters. First for the Camels with a record of 11-4, coached by Brent Souter. At a guard, a 6-foot senior, number 12, Brock Sorgenfry. Sorgenfry averaging 12.8 points per game. Another guard is Garen Jackson. He's a 5'11 junior who wears the number 15, and he is averaging 10.8 points a game. At one of the forwards, William Johnson. Johnson is a 6'2 senior, wears the number 21, and is averaging 7.5 points a contest. Another forward is a 6'3 senior, Nathan Smith. Smith wears the number 23 and is averaging 6.6 points per goal game. And at the other forward, a 6'4 senior, number 25, Connor Weinel. Weinel averaging a team high 14.7 points per game. So once again for the Camels, it'll be Sorgenfry, Jackson, Johnson, Smith, and Weinel. On the season, the Camels averaging a healthy 66.2 points per game. On defense, giving up just 52.2 points per contest. Now for the Harrison County Thoroughbreds, 4-9 on the year. At a guard, Caden Custard. Custard back in the starting lineup after that long disabled list day. He wears the number 1 and is now averaging 28 points per game with that 31-point performance back on Tuesday against Scott High. At another guard, Mason Smiley. Smiley wears the number 3. He's a 5'9 senior, averaging 10.9. And the other guard is Elijah Harris. Harris is a 5'9 senior who wears the number 13 and is averaging 14.2 points per contest. At one of the forward positions, Garrett Wilson. He wears number 20. He's a 6'1 senior, averaging 9.5 points a game. And at the other forward, a 6'3 senior, number 25, Braxton Grubb. Grubb averaging 7.1. So once again for the Breds, it'll be Custard, Smiley, Harris, Wilson, and Grubb. Harrison County offensively averaging 61.5 points per game. On defense, though, giving up 66.3 points per contest. On paper, the Camels about a 10-point favorite, so it'll be a good night to pull the upset here on the Hilltop against one of the top 20 teams in the state of Kentucky. As far as the overall series between Harrison County and Campbell County pretty much has owned it. This will be the 43rd meeting between the two schools in boys basketball. Campbell leads the all-time series 28-14 and have an edge here on the Hilltop as well, as the Camels have beaten the Thoroughbreds 10 times here at Monticello Heights Gymnasium, while the Breds have won 9. It's a series that actually began back in November of 1952, a game that Harrison County lost here at home 44-42. Last year, the two teams got together up in Claryville, with Campbell County winning handily 73-48. The last time the two teams got together here on the Hilltop was a couple of years ago, a game that Harrison County won 67-60. So there's your look at the all-time series between these two schools, as well as the starting lineups for tonight's game. Breds will be back in action tomorrow night when they'll participate in a boy-girl doubleheader over in Carlisle, as both the Phillies and the Thoroughbreds will be playing their first district games of the season against the Jackets and the Lady Jackets respectively, but the boys will play first. That game slated to begin at 6 o'clock. Make plans now to come over to Carlisle at Nicholas County High School and support your Thoroughbreds. The Breds will also host Robertson County next Friday in a girl-boy doubleheader. They'll be playing the second game in that particular doubleheader. That's also going to be homecoming night, and also a night in which the 1999-2000 Phillies basketball team, the first of two that have gone to the regional championship and won it and gone on to state, they'll be honored at halftime of the girls game, which will come first. So make plans now to attend the whole night of festivities up here on the Hilltop next Friday when Robertson County comes to town. Meanwhile, the Phillies, as we said, will play the first game at Nicholas tomorrow night, play the second game tomorrow night at Nicholas, and will be the first game against Robertson County the following Friday. The wrestling team, both our boys and girls, will be in competition tomorrow. Our boys wrestling team will be participating in the Warhawk Classic over at Great Crossing High School in Scott County, while tomorrow our girls will head to the River City of Louisville and participate in a tournament being hosted by Moore High School. So best of luck to our boys and girls tomorrow in competition. Both the boys and the girls will also be in competition next Wednesday when they'll head to Mount Sterling for some duels with Montgomery County, one of our ancient rivals, not just in wrestling, but in just about every sport. So best of luck to Coach Ashbrook and his boys and girls wrestling teams in their competitions both this weekend and on Wednesday as well. Well, right now, the Harrison County Air Force Junior ROTC is going to be presenting the colors. We'll then have the national anthem. And what we'll do is take a listen to the national anthem, after which we'll take a break and then come back for the tip-off of tonight's game between Harrison County and Campbell County. But right now, our Star Spangled Banner.
Cadet Airman First Class Brooklyn Hampton.
Back here at the Hilltop, Harrison County and Campbell County about to take each other on. Right now, the starting quintet for Campbell County being introduced in front of a very healthy Friday night crowd here on the Hilltop. I think that people are realizing that we've got a pretty darn good, fun bunch to watch play, and they're playing against maybe their biggest competition, or at least one of their two biggest competition in the 10th region. We'll just have to wait and see. Campbell County has already played Clark County, who is generally assumed to be the top team in our region. And that came back in the second game of the year. And in that game, which was played in Claryville, Campbell County fell to Clark County, but just by 3 points, 63-60. So we'll have to compare scores once this game is over. Band not here tonight. Don't know where they are, but sure they'll be back next week, or at least I hope they'll be back next week when we host Robertson County in that doubleheader here on the Hilltop in district play. But still a good crowd on hand for tonight's game. Campbell County patiently waiting our starting five to be introduced, which will happen very soon. Caden Custard still wearing a elastic wrap around that injured hand that he broke about a month ago, just for protection purposes. He's been completely released from the doctor with no restrictions. So getting his first start since coming back from that injury. Jumping center for Campbell County will be Connor Weinel. Across the midcourt stripe for Harrison County. Jumping center will be Caden Custard as we're about to get this game underway. The 4-9 Thoroughbreds against the 11-4 Campbell County Camels. Officials make sure everybody's ready for play. They say they are. We'll get this thing underway. The tap is up and will be run down by Elijah Harris, but I think he might have been standing on the end line going after that loose ball. So Campbell County will get the basketball. Aaron Jackson with the basketball, across the timeline, drifts over to the right side, long range. Jackson picks up his dribble now on the wing to the top of the key to Sorgenfry. Sorgenfry back to Jackson, who goes on the baseline, now on the right side. Weinel tries a three, and it's good. Connor Weinel draws first blood for his Campbell County Camels. So he puts his team ahead 3-0. We played half a minute of this ball game. With the basketball up top, Grubb to the left side to Harris, long range. Harris takes his dribble and gets the ball to Wilson. Now back to the other side to Harris, long range. Harris to the far hash mark to Custard. Custard down to the top of the key to Grubb. Grubb to Smiley. Smiley to the right side in front of the Campbell County bench to Harris. Harris goes around Jackson to the basket. His layup is good and he's fouled. And Harrison County is back to within one on what we hope will be a three-point play the old-fashioned way by Elijah Harris. Harris on the year, a 68% free throw shooter. As we said, that foul is on Jackson, his first. Trying to tie this game up is Harris. At the 7:03 mark, his free throw is good, and we are knotted at 3. A traditional 3 by Campbell County on their side, the old-fashioned 3 on our side. At the top of the key in the front court, Weinel hands the ball off to Smith. Smith in the corner finds Sorgenfry for a 3, and it's good. Brock Sorgenfry dials long distance. They'll put his team back out in the lead, 6-3. 6:41 left to go in this first quarter. Custer to the right side, long range, puts up a three-pointer off the flange, no good. Extra long rebound is going to be chased down by Sorgenfry. In the front court at the top of the key, Jackson. Jackson scoots back near the center circle to reset the offense. A pass to the left side, long range to Johnson. Johnson back up top, this time to Smith. He'll hand it off to Sorgenfry at the top of the key. Sorgenfry to Jackson. Jackson over on the right side, long range to Johnson. Johnson at the right elbow, pitches the ball into the near corner to Sorgenfry for another 3 try. This time it's no good. Rebound, though, is picked up and blocked with Connor Weinel going up and in. 5 points now for Weinel. Puts his team up 8-3. Now floating to the basket is going to be Custard. His shot is no good, but he's going to be fouled. And we'll be going to the line. Custard at the line this year, a 76% free throw shooter. His first free throw attempt of the night is on the way and good. Gets Harrison County back to within 4 at 8-4. 5:50 left on the clock here in the first quarter. Second free throw by Custard is no good. And getting the rebound off the hop was Johnson. Into the front court with the basketball comes Jackson. Jackson over on the right side to Johnson. Back up top to Smith. Over on the left side, Jackson, long range 3. Count it. 3 3-pointers by the Campbell County Camels, and they're 4 times down the floor as they will now take an 11-4 advantage. 5:26 left to go here in this first quarter of play. In the front court on the near side, Wilson. He'll go baseline, stops, almost trapped, gets the ball to Harris. Harris forces up a bad shot. Grubb there for the rebound. His putback is no good. And now the ball is going to be saved from going out of bounds by Wilson. With the basketball, Custard flies to the basket. His runner is no good. And this time Weinel will come away with the board. In the front court on the right side, Smith. He'll get the ball to Jackson. Jackson looking inside. Now gets it back between the circles to Smith. To the right side, long range to Sorgenfry. Harrison County trails 11-4. Campbell County with the lead in the basketball. Yo-yoing the ball inside the center circle. Jackson gets the ball to the left side to Sorgenfry. Wraparound pass gets to Jackson, and Jackson lays it in. That was a nice pass by Sorgenfry. But it will give the Camels a 13-4 advantage with 4:28 on the clock here in the first quarter. Across the timeline comes Harris. Harris between the legs dribble on the right side. Now between the circles. Now goes inside the arc on the right side before pitching it up top to Wilson. Wilson on a weave to Custard. Custard to Grubb at the top of the key to the right side to Smiley. Smiley in the paint. Puts up a 10-footer. No good. And the rebound's going to be pulled in by Weinel. Up the floor come the Campbells. Left side, Sorgenfry. 15-footer off the flange. No good. Rebound, though, is picked up by Smith. Smith will take the ball back up top once again to the left side. Gets the ball to Sorgenfry. Now between the circles to Jackson. Jackson looking over to Coach Souter to see what play he wants to run this time down the floor. His team up by 9. Over on the far sideline, Johnson. To the left side, finds Jackson. Jackson down low to Weinel. He'll get it on the baseline. Now up top, a shot by Smith is off the flange. Rebound, though, is going to be pulled down by Johnson. Johnson's shot no good. Johnson gets the rebound once again. This time goes up. His shot's no good, but he's going to be fouled. Right now, the Camels are killing us on the offensive glass. Going to the line will be Johnson for the first time tonight on the year. Johnson is a 76% free throw shooter. His first free throw is on the way and good. Checking in for Harrison County, a couple of subs. Jay Sean Lewis, 5'11 junior, averaging 3.7. Also Justin Craycraft in the game, 6'9 senior, averaging 5.9. A second free throw upcoming for Johnson with 3:25 on the clock here in the first quarter. Johnson, a senior. His second free throw is on the way and perfect. Extends his team's lead out to its best at 15-4. Custer now will bring the ball into the front court, crosses the timeline on the opposite side of the midcourt circle. Between the legs, dribble to the top of the key, now gets inside the arc, pulls up at the elbow, good. Custer with the elbow shot, gets Harrison County back to within 9 at 15-6. With the basketball, a long three fired up by Weinel. It's no good, but going in there and getting the rebound is William Johnson. Johnson now with 4 on the putback, puts his team back up by 11, 17-6. 2:46 left to go in the first quarter. Custer to the top of the key. Lobs the ball to the near side to Harris. He'll put up a long three, good. The first Knuppwall three-pointer for Harrison County, scored by Elijah Harris. And Harrison County is back to within 8 at 17-9. 2.5 left to go in the first quarter. With the basketball now in the front court is Weinel. Weinel cut off on the baseline, gets it into the paint to Smith. Here's a shot from the elbow on the opposite side, no good. Ball on the ground, and it's going to be picked up by Harris. And now as Harris tries to get to the basket, they're going to say the ball is back tapped away from behind. Last touch by Campbell County as Wilson will check back in. Stockyards Bank and Trust has competitive home equity loans and home equity lines of credit. Ask a lender to learn more at Stockyards Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. From his own baseline, Smiley. To trigger the inbounds pass, gets the ball to Wilson in the corner. Wilson into the paint, stops and pops from 12, no good. Rebound batted around, and finally Jackson comes away with it, and here come the Camels. In the front court, in the corner, a three by Smith is no good. Rebound, though, pulled down by Johnson. His putback is going to be good, and he is fouled. And will be going to the line for a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play. Johnson is killing us inside. He already has 4 offensive rebounds. Puts his team up 19-9. 1:56 left to go in this first quarter. Johnson, 2 for 2 from the line tonight. Trying to make it an 11-point game with 1:56 left in the first quarter, which he does. Came in averaging 7.5. He already has 7. With the basketball, Custard walking it across the timeline on the near side of the circle, directing traffic. Jaden Boyer's in the game for Harrison County. Boyer's a 6'5 junior, averaging 2.8. Custer behind the back dribble will have his dribble stolen away. Jackson gets the ball underneath to Johnson, and Johnson lays it in. And now Harrison County needs a timeout, and they will take it with 9:23 left to go in the first quarter of play. It's just going to be a 30-second timeout. So we'll keep it right here. 22-9. Harrison County trails with 1:33 left to go in the first quarter. Thoroughbreds having problems scoring, but more problems defending here in the early going. At El Paracutan, daily lunch specials and the always popular buffet are calling your name. Plan a visit soon to the Harrison Square and enjoy a meal at El Paracutan. Well, Campbell County has started out this game very quickly. Remember, they're coming into this game with a 2-game losing streak, and I'm sure that they are a bit more determined in this game than maybe they normally have been. But still lots of time. I'd like to get this deficit down to single digits by the second quarter. in the front court. Lewis with the basketball on the right side. Goes baseline to the basket. Lays it up good, and he's fouled. And Jay Sean will be going to the line for a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play. Maybe that's the spark we need on that driving layup, which gets Harrison County back to within 11 at 22-11 with 1:19 left to go in this first quarter. Lewis at the line for the first time tonight on the year. He is a 56% free throw shooter, but rattles that one home. And Harrison County back to within 10 at 22-12. As we approach a minute left to go in the first quarter, Sorgenfrey gets the ball on the left side to Smith. Smith into the hands of Fancher, who misses the shot, and Wilson comes away with the rebound. Up the floor come the Breds in a hurry. That's Smiley. Stops and pops from 10. Good from in the lane. Big basket that time by Mason. And Harrison County is back to within 8 at 22-14. Now a shot made by Campbell County and a chance for another old-fashioned three-point play that was made by Zach Franzen, 6'1" junior, averaging 4 points a game. So Franzen at the line on the year is a 47% free throw shooter. 24-14 is your score, and the free throw by Franzen is good, proving the lead for the Camels to 25-14. Said less than a minute left to go here in the first quarter. Smiley to Wilson on the left side. Smiley gets top of the key. Boyers for the open three. Off to the right, no good. Wilson's tap is also no good. And Smith with the rebound. Weinel makes the shot with 20 seconds left to put his team back up by a 13-point margin at 27-14. Just 13 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Custer to the left side to Smiley. Smiley drives, pulls up for a 15-footer. Good. Big shot that time by Mason Smiley. And that is the way that the first quarter will end. With your score, Campbell County 27, Harrison County 16. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WC. All righty, back here on the hilltop, Harrison County trails 27-16 to Campbell as we're about to begin the second quarter of play. Like a good neighbor, Joe Cochran with State Farm is there. Get a new home or auto quote with Joe by calling 859-234-3813. Joe always supports the Breds and the Phillies. Inbounds pass will come to Franzen, who stays in the game. He'll get it into the hands of Sorgenfrey. Sorgenfrey at the top of the key to Smith. He'll hand the ball to Weinel. Weinel falls down, and the loose ball is going to be picked up by Grubb. Up the floor come the Breds, needing a basket. Custard in the corner. Now floats the ball up top to Wilson. Now to Smiley. To the left side finds Lewis. Lewis back up top to Grubb once again. Grubb a pitch to the near side to Custard. No look pass to Smiley in front of the Campbell County bench. All this happening beyond three-point range. Harrison down by 11. With the basketball now on the far side of the midcourt circle is Wilson. Gets it to Smiley. Smiley to Lewis. Lewis dumps the ball down low to Wilson. And Wilson is fouled as he puts up a shot that's no good, but he's going to the line for two. Foul's going to be called against Fancher. It'll be Fancher's first. Wilson to the line for the first time tonight on the year. Garrett is a 69% free throw shooter. His first free throw here is good. Narrows the gap to 27-17. 7:14 left to go on the clock here in the first half. Wilson lines up for his second free toss, which is on the way and good. Harrison County now back to within 9 at 27-18. Across the timeline come the Camels. On the left side, Johnson. Johnson tore us up in the first quarter. Now spins around and gets it to the top of the key to Weinl. In between the circles, he'll hand the ball to Jackson. Jackson over on the right side to Smith. Smith up top now to Weinl. In the corner, he'll find Johnson. Johnson back to Weinl. Being guarded by Grubb now. Picks up his dribble, pitches it to the far side to Jackson. Jackson at the top of the key. Now hands the ball off to Johnson. Johnson in the paint, has the ball taken away from him on a nice steal by Custard. He'll get the ball to Wilson. 2-on-3 break. Wilson pulls up from the elbow. Shot no good. Rebound Custard. His putback is good, and he is fouled. And Harrison County is going to go to the line for a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play. Nice play that time by Caden. Makes it 27-20, and we can make it a 6-point game if he can make this free throw here. 6:30 on the clock. Custard 1 for 2 from the line here in the first part of the game. His free throw is perfect. Harrison County back to within 6 at 27-21. With the basketball, Jackson across the timeline. Across the midcourt stripe. Now moves to the top of the key. Now to the elbow. Kicks it back up top to Sorgenfry. Sorgenfry on the far side to Johnson. Back up top to Weinl. Puts up a three-point try. Off to the right. Rebound pulled down by Harris. And here come the Thoroughbreds into the front court. Harris stops the top of the key. Between the legs dribble. Moves to the elbow. Down to the block. To the glass. Shot no good, but he's fouled. And Elijah's going to the free throw line. Coach Souter didn't think much about that foul call against Garen Jackson. That's Jackson's second personal foul. They'll send Harris to the line for the first time tonight on the year. Harris is a 68% free throw shooter. With 6:01 left in the half, his first free throw is good. Makes it 27-22. Second free throw by the senior Elijah Harris to make it a 4-point game is also good. Coming in the game now will be Zach Franzen. 27-23 your score. Timeout called. Just a 30-second timeout by Campbell, so we'll keep it right here. The Harrison County coming back from a double-digit deficit late in the first quarter to now be back within 4 at 27-23. Well, do you have a big group to feed? The Beast Pizza is great for birthdays and parties. Just dial 235-7627 right now. That's 235.
Snap.
Didn't quite hear the snapping part.
Nope.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So we said a great crowd for tonight's game. So far, it's been pretty entertaining. Hopefully, Harrison County can continue their comeback after trailing 22-9 late in the first quarter. So right now, the Thoroughbreds are on a 14-5 run. Out of the timeout with the basketball, Jackson. His team up by 4. Up at the top, Sorgenfry for 3. No good. Rebound's going to be pulled out of thin air by Smith. Smith up top. Here's a 3 by Jackson. It is good. Jackson's second tray of the game puts his team back up by 7 at 30-23. With the basketball up top for Harrison County is Harris. Harris surveys the defense of Campbell County before wandering over to the far side of the circle and then reverses back to this side where he'll get the ball to Custard. In between the circles of Lewis to the left side to Harris again. Harris bounce pass to Custard in the corner. Down on the block, he'll get the ball to Wilson, whose shot is good. Nice feed that time by Custard. Wilson with 4. And Harrison County back to within 5 at 30-25. 5:02 on the clock. With the basketball going to the basket. A scoop shot, no good. Rebound pulled down by Custard. Into the front court come the Breds. Custard at the top of the key. Stops. Lobs it to Harris. Harris in the paint. Falls down. and they're going to say it was because he was fouled. And Coach Souder about to have a go. Fouls on Franzen, his first. And coming in the game for Harrison County, Smiley back in for Lewis. Just a common foul. They've been here for Farmers since 1916, and they're here for you now. Farm Credit Mid-America. Contact Mike Furnish at 859-254-2741 or visit efarmcredit.com. Smiley inbounds the ball to Custard in the corner. Custard lobs a ball, and it's taken away by Jackson. Jackson in the front court to Johnson, to the basket and good. 11 points now for William Johnson. Harrison County back down by 7, 32-25, 4:28 left on the clock here in the second quarter. Custard up top to Harris. Harris takes the ball to near the top of the key. Now a pass to the right side to Smiley. In the corner finds Grubb. Grubb on the baseline to Custard. Down low to Wilson, who puts it up and in. Another nice pass. Wilson now with 6 points. Gets his team back to within 5 at 32-27. Midway through the second quarter. In the front court with the basketball is Franzen, but they're going to call Harrison County for a foul. It's going to be on Smiley. That'll be Mason's first personal. From his own baseline, Smith will trigger the inbounds pass. Smith looking, gets it on the wing to Sorgenfry. Sorgenfry guarded by Harris, behind the back dribble, goes to the block, has the ball knocked away from behind, but they're going to say it was because Harris fouled him. That'll be Elijah's first personal. Cynthia Hardee's wants you to visit them for breakfast, lunch, or dinner on US 27 South. They've got the best burgers in town. That's Hardee's in Cynthiana. Sorgenfry at the line for the first time today on the year, a 77% free throw shooter, and he nails the first one. That'll increase his team's lead back out to 6 at 33-27. Second free throw is also good by Sorgenfry. Harrison County down by 8 now, or 7, 34-27, with 3:44 on the clock. With the basketball, Harris. Between the legs dribble, pass to the right side to Smiley, in the corner to Custard for a three-point try. No. Wilson there for the putback. Good. Nice job that time by Garrett. Big basket. Gets Harrison County back to within 5 again at 34-29. 3:21 left to go in the first half. Now Jackson has his pocket picked. Harrison County with the basketball. That's Smiley. Smiley jogs the ball across the timeline to the left side to Wilson. Now back up top to Smiley, to the right side to Harris. Harris picks up his dribble, gets it to Wilson, who will in turn hand it off to Custard. Custard to Harris in front of the Campbell County bench with under 3 to go in the first half. Harrison County down 34-29. Harris with the basketball now, a step inside the center circle. Just yo-yoing the ball now, gets it over to Wilson, to Smiley, back to the far hash mark to Harris. Harris uses a pick from Grubb, now gets the ball to Custard over on the far sideline. Custard in between the circles now, goes into the paint, guns it into the corner to Smiley for 3, no good, barely grazed the rim, and chasing down the rebound is Jackson. In the front court, here come the Camels going to the basket. Sorgenfry, his shot is good, and he is fouled. And Sorgenfry will be going to the line for a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play. Seems like every time Harrison County gets a little bit close, the Camels come storming back, and they now lead by 7, 36-29, with the old three-point play coming up for Sorgenfry, who just made 2 out of his 2 free throws a couple of possessions ago. The free throw is good. He has 8 points now, and the Camels back up by 8 at 37-29. 2:20 left to go in the first half. Custard across the timeline. Calls out the play as he motions for Harris and Smiley to come up a couple of steps. Pass to Smiley on the left side. In the corner finds Wilson. Wilson back on the wing to Smiley, in between the circles now to Harris. Harris to the right side to Custard, long range. Custard takes his dribble, gets it back up top to Smiley once again. Smiley looks to his right, now dribbles it over to the left side to Harris. Harris back up top to Smiley, to the right side, long range to Custard once again. All this happening 22 feet from the basket. Here's a long 3 by Smiley, good! Another Knupwall three-pointer This one nailed by Mason Smiley, and Harrison's back to within 5 again at 37-32. Now a whistle and a turnover by the Campbell County Camels. Gives the ball back to the Breds. If you're fed up, call Canup. Canup Law promises to treat you with care, respect, and dignity in whatever legal situation you're in. Visit them at canuplaw.com. With the basketball, Custard, his team down by 5. 90 seconds left to go in the first half. Custard from the foul line, fall away jumper, good. Custard with 8 points from the free throw line. Gets his team back to within 3 at 37-34. A minute 18 left to go in the first quarter. Here's a long 3 fired up by Fancher, no good. Wilson climbs the ladder to bring it down. Who got that? Jackson. They stole the ball and got the points. So Jackson with 10 points now. Gets his team back up by 5. And here's another 3 by Mason Smiley to make the score 39-37. Harrison County back to within 2 with 46 seconds on the clock. With the basketball now out top. It's a steal by Smiley. Smiley doesn't get to the basket before he's going to be fouled. And that foul is going to be called on Chance Crowley, I believe. And it is. Chance Crowley, a 6-foot senior, averaging 2.9. So going to the line with a chance to tie this game will be Mason Smiley. Smiley on the season, a 63% free throw shooter. Come on, Mason. 33 seconds on the clock. First free throw, perfect. Breds back to within 1. Jay Sean Lewis back in the game for Harrison County for defensive purposes. Here's for the tie. It's on its way, and Harrison County has worked its way all the way back from a 13-point deficit to tie the game at 39-39. Our first tie since it was 3-3. Sorgenfry in the front court, dumps the ball to Jackson. He'll fire a 3 for the lead, good. Jackson with 13 points now, 16 seconds left. Harrison County with the basketball. With the basketball is Custard. Fall away 10-footer, no good. Rebound pulled down by Sorgenfry, and his midcourt shot at the buzzer is no good. And that is the way that the first half will end. With your score, Campbell County 42, Harrison County 39. Exciting first half of play, especially with Harrison County coming back to tie the game after being down by as many as 13, but have settled in after that Jackson shot inside the last 20 seconds that has given the Camels the lead going into the locker room. We might stay tuned now for our halftime show brought to you by Joe Cochran out at State Farm. We'll go over all the scoring and stats from this first half of play. But once again, from here on the hilltop, your halftime score, Campbell County 42, Harrison County 39. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WC1. Alrighty, back here at the Hilltop. Harrison County down to Campbell County 42-39. Harrison County got behind the 8 ball early with about a minute and a half left to go in the first quarter. Actually trailed 22-9, but then went on a very successful run that I didn't put what it was. Let's see, should have written that down. That one time we went on a 13-5 run to pull back to within 5, and eventually tied the game up on a couple of free throws by Mason Smiley inside the last 30 seconds before Garen Jackson hit a 3 from the top of the key to send his team into the locker room up by a tray. Take a look at the scoring. First for Harrison County, Mason Smiley leads the way with 10 points, and then 8 points apiece for Elijah Harris, Garrett Wilson, and Caden Custard, and a 3 spot for Jay Sean Lewis on an old-fashioned 3-point play. Also playing but not scoring, Jaden Boyers, Braxton Grubb, and Justin Craycraft. Meanwhile, for Campbell County, they're paced in the first half by Garen Jackson's 13, including 3 3-pointers. William Johnson also having a big game. 11 points, 9 of those coming in the first quarter when the Campbells were building the first big lead. Also scoring tonight so far for Campbell County, Brock Sorgenfry has 8, including a 3. Connor Weinel has 7, including a tray. And rounding out the scoring was Zach Franzen with 3. Also playing but not scoring, Nathan Smith, Xavier Fancher, and Chance Crowley. That's the way the individual numbers look. We'll take a break, come back, and see how the team stats stack up right after this timeout. Once again, your halftime score, Campbell County 42, Harrison County 39. You're listening to the Joe Cochran out at State Farm halftime show on WCYN Sports. Alrighty, back here on the Hilltop. Let's take a look at how the team stats stack up. Both teams shot lights out in that first half, as you might imagine. Campbell County was 15 out of 28. That's 53.6%. They attempted 13 trays and made 5. Meanwhile, Harrison County, 14 out of 26. That's 53.8%. They attempted 7 trays and made 3. The mark of championship basketball teams is free throw shooting, and both of these teams did extremely well in that statistic. Campbell County, 7 for 7 from the charity stripe. Harrison County, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. That's 88.9%. Turnovers, not a whole lot, because both of these teams are good at making sure that they take care of the basketball. Harrison County, 4 turnovers in the first half, while Campbell County had 5. And the rebounding battle was won by Campbell County as well, 15-10. 7 offensive and 8 defensive rebounds for the Camels. They were paced in that department by William Johnson's 5. Meanwhile, for Harrison County, 3 offensive and 7 defensive boards for our 10. Leading the way, Garrett Wilson, who has 5 boards here at the break. So that's how the numbers break down, and when it all comes out in the end, or at least through the first half, a close game. Both teams out on the floor going through their halftime warm-ups. We'll invite you to stay tuned as we'll come back after this break with the third quarter handoff. Once again, your halftime score, Campbell County 42, Harrison County 39. You've been listening to the halftime show brought to you by Joe Cochran out at State Farm on WCYN Sports. All righty, back here at the Hilltop. Harrison County down by 3 as we're about to begin the second half, and the Thoroughbreds will have the ball. Stockyards Bank and Trust has competitive home equity loans and home equity lines of credit. Ask a lender to learn more. That's Stockyards Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Smiley with the basketball to the right side finds Harris. Back up top to Grubb. Grubb looks to his left, now hands the ball to Custard. Custard fans the ball to the right side to Harris. Ball fake, moves into the paint, and he is going to be called for the travel. So a turnover starts things off for the Breds here in the second half. I want to remind you that at El Paracutin, they've got daily lunch specials and the always popular buffet that are calling your name. Plan a visit soon to the Harrison Square and enjoy a meal at El Paracutin. Across the timeline comes Jackson. Gets it on the right side to Johnson. Now to Smith, to the left side to Sorgenfrei. Down low, shot put up and good by Weinel. Connor Weinel's 9th point on the layup. Puts his team up by 5, 44-39. And now a loose ball on the floor, picked up by Campbell County. Up the floor and into the front court come the Campbells. On the right side, Smith has it, dumps it down on the block, knocked away and stolen by Harrison County's Harris. Harris, 3-on-2 break, goes to the basket, layup good. 10 points for Elijah. Harrison County now back to within 3 at 44-41. So we go under 7 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Jackson over to the left side to Johnson. Johnson back to Jackson on the baseline. He's guarded by Custard. He'll get it on the wing to Johnson. Johnson to the right side, long range to Smith. Smith guarded by Harris. Smith then gets the ball between the circles to Jackson. Jackson goes to the block to the glass. His layup is good. Got that good explosive first step and made it to the basket before the defense could get there. Makes it 46-41 in favor of the Camels. Here's a 3, no good. And the rebound is picked up by Jackson. Jackson gets the ball underneath the basket. Shot no good. Rebound pulled in by Custard. In the front court going to the basket, Wilson. His shot's going to be partially blocked, it looked like. And now, ball's knocked away. And they're going to say that it's going to be Harrison County's basketball. Smiley lobs the ball on the wing to Harris. Now up top to Grubb. Grubb to Custard. Custard in the paint. Goes to the basket. His shot put up and good. 10 points now for Caden. And Harrison County back to within 3 at 46-43. With the basketball between the circles is Jackson. Jackson stops. Hands the ball off once again to Sorgenfrei. Sorgenfrei, his team up by 3, gets the ball into the hands of Smith. Smith tries a pass. He gets it down low to Weinel, who puts it up and in. Weinel makes it a 5-point game once again, this time at 48-43 with 5:32 left to go in the third quarter. Inside the center circle, Harris pass to the left side. He'll find Smiley. Smiley now in the paint. Dumps it off to Harris in the corner. Harris ball fake, gets it to the elbow to Smiley. Up top, Custard, NBA 3, bounces off. Rebound pulled down by Weinel. And up the floor, here come the Camels. With the basketball now, up top is Jackson. Gets it to the foul line to Weinel. Jump shot good. 13 points for Weinel, 6 coming here in this third quarter as the Camels have opened up a 7-point advantage. They led by 3 at the half. Across the timeline comes Harris. Harrison County's gone their last 4 possessions without a score. Wilson back to Harris. Now to the far hash mark in front of the stable to Custard. Custard in between the circles to Grubb. Grubb back on the wing to Wilson. Has the ball knocked out of his hands. And now bodies hit the floor as the ball sails out of bounds. Last touch, they're going to say, by Campbell County. J. Sean Lewis will check back in now for the Thoroughbreds. Like a good neighbor, Joe Cochran with State Farm is there. Get a new home or auto quote with Joe by calling 859-234-3813. Joe always supports the Breds and Phillies. Wilson with the basketball between the circles. Pass to the left side to Grubb. In the corner, he'll find Lewis. J. Sean back up top to Grubb. Grubb back to Lewis in the corner. Bounce pass down low to Custard, who lays it up and in. Give the assist to Lewis. Custard the points. And Harrison County has snuck back once again to within a 5 spot at 50-45. Now a shot put up and good. Weinel with another shot. on the layup. Puts his team up by 7 once again at 52-45. Here's a shot put up no good by Harrison County. Race for the rebound. It goes out of bounds. And they're going to say it was last touched by the Camels. From the corner to inbounds the basketball will be Smiley. Mason looking. Somebody get open. Now a lob is going to be tapped away. Loose ball is picked up by Campbell County. Campbell's in the front court on the left side. That's Jackson in the paint. Weinel to the basket. His layup is good, and he is fouled. And Weinel, who has 10 third-quarter points, will go to the line with a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play. He is a monster inside as the Camels have built their lead back to 10 at 55-45, and 3:44 left to go in the third quarter. They have just taken over here. Weinel, a 70% free throw shooter, makes the shot. Makes the score 56-45. With the basketball coming into the front court for Harrison County is Harris. Right now an 11-3 run by the Camels. Harris, a fall-away jumper is good. That stops the bleeding, at least temporarily. In the front court, his team up by 9 comes Jackson. 3:18 left to go in the third quarter. Handoff comes to Smith. Smith, a bounce pass in the corner to Sorgenfry. Sorgenfry forces up a three. It's going to bounce in there. Going to be that kind of a night for Sorgenfry. And the Campbell County Camels have recaptured that 12-point lead they had earlier in this game. In fact, they led by 13, 1 point. But right now by a 12 spot. With the basketball and under 3 to go in the third is Smiley. Hands it off to Custard in the corner to Harris. Harris, a couple of fakes, moves into the paint. Now dishes it off to Smiley. Smiley at the block. A fall-away jumper off the mark, no good. And on the rebound, we're going to have a jump ball. Possession arrow will unfortunately give it back to Campbell County. Well, you have a big group to feed. The Beast Pizza is great for birthdays and parties. Just dial 235-7627 right now. That's 235.
Snap.
Very good. With the basketball across the timeline comes Jackson. Gets it into the hands of Smith. Smith to a driving Sorgenfry, who lays it up and in. When will someone please take a charge? Timeout called by Harrison. We'll take it as well. 2:24 left to go in the third. Your score, Campbell County 61, Harrison County 47. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCY. All righty, back here at Monticello Heights Gymnasium. Harrison County down by their largest margin at 61-47 as the Camels are presently on a 15-4 run. In the front court with the basketball, Lewis. He'll get it between the circles now to Grubb, to the left side to Smiley. Long range in the corner to Harris in front of his own bench. Elijah thought about the three, now turns it down, gets it back up top to Grubb once again. Grubb to Custard on the left side. Caden backs up near the center circle to reset the offense with 2 minutes left to go in the third. Still lots of time in this basketball game. Custer tells his team what play needs to be run and where they need to be. Now we'll go down to the block between the double team. Dumps it down to Grubb, and Grubb is going to be fouled by Weinel. That'll be Connor Weinel's first personal foul. Just a common foul, they're going to say. So from his own baseline to trigger the inbounds pass will be Smiley. But first, Franzen will check back in for Weinel. Smiley set to get this ball inbounds. Still looking, gets it now to Custard. Custard backs up his defender, goes up and under, shot's gonna be blocked, but a foul is gonna be called on Nathan Smith. That will be Smith's first personal foul, and will send Custard to the line for 2. Caden is 2 for 3 from the charity stripe tonight, has 12 points altogether. First free throw at the 140 mark is good. That'll start the comeback trail for the Thoroughbreds. 61-48 now your score. Second free throw for the senior is no good, and waiting in there to get the rebound was Johnson. Into the front court come the Camels. With it now, Smith has the ball taken away from behind by Grubb. Nice steal that time by Braxton. Now let's see if the Breds can get some points off of this turnover. Custard on the right side. Lobs it to the near side to Harris. Harris puts up a long three, no good. Rebound on the floor is going to be picked up by Franzen. In the front court, Franzen to Jackson, and Jackson lays it in. 17 points now for Garen Jackson. And Harrison County behind 63-48 with a minute exactly on the clock here in the third. Harris looks at the clock, sees his team down by 15. They trailed by 3 at the half, so it's been a third quarter that's been controlled by the Campbell so far. Harris dumps the ball down low. Ball knocked out of bounds by Johnson, who saw the backdoor coming and defended it well. Inbounding the ball will be Smiley with 44 seconds on the clock. We need a bucket, a stop, and another bucket before the horn. Lewis up top now to Grubb. Grubb will hand the ball to Harris. Harris thought about the NBA three, but wisely turned it down with Jackson right on top of him. Elijah to the basket, misses the shot, and Jackson will get the rebound. And here come the Camels in a hurry. Here's a shot put up, no good by Franzen, but he's going to be fouled. We're just not getting down the floor fast enough, people. Fouls on Custard is first. Sending Franzen to the line where he is 1 for 1. Franzen, a junior, averaging 4 points a game, has 3 right now. With 27 seconds left to go in the quarter, though, his first free throw's no good. Wilson back in for Harrison County. Chance Crowley, who saw some action in the first half, returns for the Camels. Give Johnson a rest. Second free throw upcoming for Franzen. Franzen's second try is going to be good. And that will increase the lead to 64-48. With the basketball up top with just 17 seconds left is Custard. Custard races into the paint, goes to the bucket, shot partially blocked, but Caden so strong, gets that ball to go down anyway. 6 seconds left, the other way, Franzen to the basket, and shot blocked. Jackson misses, and now Elijah Harris will float one up for a three-point try that's no good, and that will bring us to the end of the third quarter of play. With your score, Campbell County 64, Harrison County 50. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on W. All righty, back here at the Hilltop, Harrison County down by 14. With 1 quarter to go, the Thoroughbreds will have the ball first. Breds have trailed by as many as 16 in this half. With the basketball, Custard from the left elbow. Jump shot, no good. Rebound, though, is going to be picked up by Jay-Sean Lewis. He gets the ball to Wilson. 10-footer, no. Custard comes down with the rebound, and he's going to be, what are we going to have? A jump ball. So we give the ball back to Campbell County. They've been here for farmers since 1916, and they're here for you now. Farm Credit Mid-America. Contact Mike Furnish at 859-254-2741 or visit efarmcredit.com. Against the full court pressure, Campbell's break it. Franzen to the basket. His shot's no good, but he's fouled. And Zach Franzen will go to the line for two. That foul is going to be against Lewis. That'll be Jay-Sean's first. Basically, Campbell County's just come out with much more energy in this second half than we have not matched them. Franzen 1 for 2 from the line. His team up by 14. First one's on the way and good. He now has 5 points and puts his team back up by 15. 65-50. Half a minute into this fourth quarter. Second free throw is also good by Franzen. Breds down 66-50. Needing some baskets. Custer double teamed, forces up a shot, and it's no good, but he's fouled and will go to the line for two. Fouls on Nathan Smith. That'll be his second. Custard back to the line where he is 3 for 5 tonight. He has 15 points, 13 below his season's average. So the Camels have done a good job of reining in Custard. Although they haven't stopped him, just reined him in. First free throw is on the way and good. Back in the game, Weinel returns for Campbell County. 66-51 now your score. And the second free throw for Custard is also good. He now has 17 on the night. Makes the score 66-52. Full court pressure being applied by the Breds. Campbell's break it in the front court. Franzen. He'll get a skip pass over to the far side to Jackson. Jackson, a floater from the elbow. It's good. 19 points now for Garen Jackson on the runner. Puts his team up 68-52. With the basketball on the right side, Smiley dishes it off to Wilson. Wilson from the right elbow, looking for help. Pitches it back out top to Smiley. Smiley to the left side to Harris. Harris in front of his own bench. Taking a lot of time on offense. 6:45 on the clock. Harrison down by 16. Harris on the left side now makes his move to the foul line. Spins around, gets the ball back to Smiley once again. But credit the Camels for good defense, not allowing us any open looks. Smiley goes baseline, an off-balance shot, no good. Lewis gets the rebound. He'll go back up and misses the layup. And here come the Campbell County Camels once again. From the corner, a three by Weinel is good. And make that Franzen, excuse me. A Franzen three-pointer puts the Camels up 71-52. And now a whistle and a foul is going to be called against Franzen. That'll be Zach Franzen's second. The time starting to run a little short on the Thoroughbreds, down by 19. They came in about a 10-point underdog. Campbell County waking up from that 2-game losing streak they had. From his own baseline, Smiley lobs the ball up top to Lewis. Lewis goes to the elbow, gets the ball into the hands of Custard. Caden will now give the ball in between the circles to Harris. Harris walks the ball back near the center circle to reset the offense. Now makes his move into the corner where he'll get the ball to Lewis. Lewis nearly traveled. Now gets the ball to Smiley in between the circles. Back to the far side to Wilson. Back to the near side to Smiley once again. He'll hand the ball to Custard. Custard in the paint to the basket. Shot no good, but he's going to be fouled. And with 5:39 left, Caden will be going to the free throw line. The foul is on Smith. That'll be his fourth personal foul. Custard at the line. Make that 5 out of 7. Has 17 points. First free throw is good. Back in the game, Smith returns for the Camels. 71 to 53. Second free throw is also good. And we've got a timeout on the floor. It's going to be a 30-second timeout. So we'll keep her right here. The Harrison County behind by a score of 71 to 54 and just 5:39 on the clock. Can we make up 17 points in that little amount of time? Well, of course we can. We just got to start getting some defensive stops. That's the thing that's been killing us tonight, those defensive times when we have not stopped them. Cynthia and Hardee's wants you to visit them for breakfast, lunch, or dinner on US 27 South. They've got the best burgers in town. That's at Hardee's in Cynthiana. Out of the timeout, the Camels will have the basketball. Now they've got to decide who's going to take it out. So they look over to Coach Souter, who says, I want Franzen to take it out. So Franzen will take it out. Facing full court pressure, inbounds pass comes to Jackson. Jackson back to Franzen. Franzen back to Jackson, back to Franzen, who crosses the timeline. Now gets it in the corner to Johnson. Gets it in the near corner now to Sorgan Fry. Look for Campbell to maybe start milking that clock. Weinel with the basketball now at the elbow. Gets it in between the circles to Franzen. Franzen to Jackson, and now we're going to have a timeout called by Campbell County, and it is going to be a 30-second timeout as well. So we'll keep it here. 5:19 now left in this ball game, and Harrison County still trailing 71 to 54. A game they trailed by just 3 at the half, but a 15-4 run to start out the second half has given the Camels this double-digit lead. Well, if you're fed up, right now we kind of are, call Canup. Canup Law promises to treat you with care, respect, and dignity in whatever legal situation you're in. Visit them at canuplaw.com. Remember, tomorrow night, a doubleheader in Carlisle. A boy-girl doubleheader against our district rivals, the Nicholas County Blue Jackets, and then the Lady Jackets will take on our Phillies in the second game. First game set to start at 6. Make plans now to attend. Over on the far sideline, Franzen gets the ball inbounds to Jackson, and we're going to have a call that Jackson was stepping on the end line as he came across the bottom of the basket. 3 turnovers here in the second half for Campbell, but only 8 altogether. Harrison County's committed only 7 turnovers. Breds a chance to cut even more into what is right now that 7-point deficit. They've trailed by as many as 19. Harris at the top of the key, moves to the right side, now backs up. Now lobs it over to Custard. Custard goes baseline to the basket. His shot blocked. That doesn't happen often. And the rebound is pulled in by Franzen. So Franzen with his second board of the night. Ball went out of bounds off of Harrison, so Franzen will inbounds the ball. Franzen looking, gets it to Sorgan Fry. Sorgan Fry with under 5 to go. Throws the ball away. A steal by Wilson. Wilson up the floor, spins to the basket. Shot no good, but he's fouled. And we'll go to the line for 2. That foul is going to be called on Franzen. That'll be Zach Franzen's third. Wilson at the line. He's 2 for 2 from the charity stripe tonight. 8 points all coming in the first half, specifically the second quarter. First free throw for the senior is good. Harrison County back to within 16 at 71 to 55. And with 4:46 left, Wilson's second free throw is also good. 71-56 now your score. Full court press by Harrison. Inbounds pass comes to Sorgan Fry. Sorgan Fry lobs the ball to the near side to Franzen. Franzen in the front court against the double team. Gets the ball on the baseline to Johnson. Johnson down low to Weinel. And Weinel is going to be fouled by a couple of different thoroughbreds. Both Harris and Lewis got him pretty good. Still haven't seen the indication of who that foul is on. And they never did make the call. I think it was Elijah's, though. And now Larry White, the official scorer, says, who was the foul on? And now they're going to confer as to who the foul was on. Officials getting together. And it was on Elijah Harris. So we guessed right. Good for us. From his own baseline, Johnson to trigger the inbounds pass. Johnson gets it in the corner to Sorgenfry, on the wing to Weinel, up top now to Jackson. Jackson spins around, gets the ball to Franzen. Franzen then has the ball knocked away and stolen by Wilson, who goes all the way the other way and lays it up and in. Garrett Wilson with the steal and layup gets his team back to within 13 at 71-58 with 4:13 still left. In the front court, Johnson on the right side. Gets it up top to Sorgenfry, a pass to the far side to Franzen, who had to climb the ladder. Now the ball knocked away and stolen by Lewis. 2-on-2 break. And Lewis is going to be fouled from behind by Jackson. That'll be Garen Jackson's third personal, as the visitors from Claryville are unhappy about some of these calls lately, but they've all looked legit from here. So Jay-Sean Lewis to the line, where he's 1 for 1 today. Jay-Sean can get us back to within 11 with 4:01 left. If he makes both these free throws, the lefty's first try is good. Good job, Jay-Sean. 71-59. Second free throw by Lewis is also good. And Harrison County has broken a 19-point deficit down to a more manageable 11. Full court pressure, inbounds pass comes to Jackson, and Jackson's going to be fouled by Custard. That'll be 2 on Caden. They'll inbounds the ball from the same spot once again. Inbounding it will be Franzen. Franzen inbounds the ball to Weinel, to Jackson in the front court. Jackson throws the ball past Johnson, and Caden Custard is standing on the end line when he picks up the loose ball. So the Camels dodge a bullet there and will maintain possession of the basketball. From his own baseline, Johnson will trigger the inbounds pass. Johnson looking, still looking. Now a lob is picked up by Jackson, and they're going to call over and back. So give the ball back to Harrison County, as Smith will check back in with those 4 personal fouls for Franzen. Grubb also returns to the lineup for Harrison County. 71-60. Harrison County down by 11, but with the basketball. 3:53 still left on the clock in regulation. Inbounds pass comes to Custard. Custard across the timeline. Moves to the top of the key. Now drifts to the left side, reverses to the right. Gets it back out top to Wilson, to the left side to Harris. Harris in the paint. Puts up an off-balance shot, no good. Grubb with the rebound. His put back, oh shoot, no good. And with the rebound this time is going to be Weinel. So a good attempt by Grubb. The ball just would not go in the hole. So we'll walk the other way, and nope, not a shooting foul. But Campbell County will have possession with 3:34 on the clock. That was a big possession. Maybe got a little bit anxious. Jay-Sean Lewis back in the game now, as Coach Brooks doing some situational substituting. Facing full court pressure is Smith. He'll get the ball to Sorgenfry, back to Smith. Smith up the floor, brings across the timeline, and now a foul is going to be called on Lewis, trying for the steal. Back in the game, Grubb about to return. But first, the free throw by Nathan Smith. This will be Smith's first trip to the line tonight. On the year, a 45% free throw shooter. Has yet to score in this game, came in averaging 6. His first free throw is short. No good. Now Grubb comes back in for Lewis. Smith, a senior. 4 senior starters on this Campbell squad. Second free throw upcoming for Smith. With 3:28 left, is going to be good this time. So Nathan Smith puts his team up 72-60. With the basketball now, Custard in the lane. A 12-foot runner is no good. Ball knocked out of bounds by the Camels. So Harrison County will maintain possession with 3:13 left. From in front of his own bench, at the hash. Smiley inbounds the ball to Custard. Custard backs up his defender, gets it on the wing to Wilson. Wilson back to Custard on the baseline. Caden in the paint. Now a wraparound pass to Grubb, whose shot is good. Give the assist that time to Custard. The points to Grubb, his first of the night. And Harrison County is back to within 10 at 72 to 62. 2:50 left to go here in this basketball game. On the right side with the basketball now is Jackson, who get it up top and into the hands of Smith. Smith has the ball knocked away from behind. Loose ball picked up by Campbell. Johnson goes in there, tries a layup. It's no good, but he's fouled. And Johnson will go to the line for two with 2:39 left. Foul on Grubb. That'll be Broxton's first. So Johnson, 3 for 3 from the line. All three of those tries coming back in the first quarter when he scored 9 of his 11 points. First free throw by the senior is on the way and good. He has a dozen points on the night. Second free throw upcoming for Johnson is on the way, and this one is good as well. 74 to 62. Up the floor and into the front court come the Breds. Time starting to be a bit of an opponent as well, with 2:28 left and down by 12. Here's a pass intended for Wilson, but picked off by Weinel. Jackson now to Smith. Smith in the front court will find Sorgenfrey down to the block. He'll get the ball to Weinel, and a charge is going to be called on Weinel. Taking the charge that time for Harrison County was Caden Custard. He's a little slow getting up, but give the ball back to the Thoroughbreds on the good hustle play by Caden. Tell you what, Connor Weinel, a big boy, listed at 6'4", 185. So he pushes you down, you're going to get pushed down hard. Custard lets the ball roll near midcourt before picking it up. Now races into the front court and then throws the ball away. Loose ball picked up by Jackson. His shot's no good, but a foul is going to be called on Harris. That'll be Elijah's third and send Jackson back to the line. This will be Jackson's first trip to the line on the year, a 77% free throw shooter. 74-62 your score. Campbell County up by a dozen. 2:07 left. And now they're going to call an intentional foul. They called an intentional foul on Elijah. So Jackson will get to shoot 2 free throws, and then the Campbells will get the ball. Jackson, who came in averaging 11, looking for his 20th point of the night. First one's on the way and good. It proves the Campbell lead to 75 to 62. Second free throw of the intentional foul is also good. Harrison County back down by 14 after they got the deficit down to 10. Campbell's holding on. From his own baseline to trigger the inbounds pass will be Smith. Smith gets it in the corner now to Weinel. Weinel moves to the wing, gets the ball to Jackson. That's Sorgenfrey, and Sorgenfrey's pass is knocked out of bounds by Wilson. From the far sideline near the hash mark, Smith will trigger the inbounds pass. Looking, gets it to the top of the key to Weinel. Weinel, guarded by Grubb, now has the ball knocked away, but a foul is going to be called on Harrison County's Custard. That'll be his third. So 2 shot fouls the rest of the way for Campbell. At first here is Weinel, who's 1 for 1, has 18 points. That's 4 above his season's average. As many of the Campbells have had good games tonight. 1:56 on the clock. First free throw is no good. He will have another, however. Second free throw for the senior is going to be in there. Improves his team's lead to 77 to 62. In the front court on the baseline is Wilson. His half hook is good. And timeout will be called by Harrison County. We'll take it as well. 1:46 left to play. Your score, Campbell County 77, Harrison County 64. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. Alrighty, back here at the Hilltop. Campbell County with a 13-point lead and the basketball, and 1:46 left. Inbounds pass comes to Jackson. He'll get it back into the hands of Smith. Smith back to Jackson, who will cross the timeline, lobs it to Sorgenfry in the corner. Sorgenfry, a bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson fans it back up top to Jackson, who will in turn get the ball to Smith. Right now, Campbell playing keep away, letting the clock run. Smith with the basketball, stops near the timeline, has the ball taken away from him by Smiley to Harris. Harris up top, fakes the three, now backs it back out again to set the offense. Harris in the paint to the basket, good! Nice drive that time by Elijah to get his team back to within 11 at 77-66. But only a minute left to go. With the basketball across the timeline, come to Campbell. Sorgenfry has it. He'll get it into the hands of Smith. Now in the corner, Sorgenfry again. Sorgenfry tries a no-look pass, and he no-look passes it out of bounds. So not a good play by Campbell County. Coach Souter can't believe it. 54 seconds on the clock. Harrison down by 11. We've got to score every possession and stop them on every one of theirs. Custard in the front court, a lob shot, no good. Coming down with a rebound this time is Weinel, and he's going to be fouled. Fouls on Harris. Elijah picking up foul number 4. And Weinel will shoot free throws on the other end. He is 1 for 2. I'll make that 2 for 3, 2 for 3. First free throw this time around is good. Extends his team's lead back out to a dozen at 78-66. With just 45 seconds left. Second free throw for Weinel is no good, way off the mark. So give the ball to the Thoroughbreds. Harrison County will drop on the air to 4-10, while Campbell will improve to 12-4 and have that modest 2-game losing streak snapped. Harrison County had also won 2 in a row. Now a steal by the Camels. Going to the basket is Sorgenfry. His shot's no good, but he's going to be fouled by Smiley. And that'll send Sorgenfry to the line where he is 3 for 3. Right now scoring right at his average of 13 points a game. All that's left now really is the final score. First free throw by Sorgenfry is good. Makes it 79-66. And make it 80-66 as he makes the second free throw as well. With the basketball, here's the shot put up good by Custard. He has 21 points now. But time running short. 79-68. And now on the other side of the floor, a foul on Harrison County. It's going to be on Harris, and that'll be 5 on Elijah. So Elijah will check out, having scored 14 points. But with just 13 seconds left, his team trails 79-68. Braxton Grubb checks back in for the Breds. Johnson waits at the line, where he is 5 for 5. First one's on the way and no good. He will have another, however, to try to make it an even 80. Second free throw by the senior Johnson. It's on the way, and this is also no good. Rebound pulled down by Grubb. Into the front court, Custard. Custard on the right side with 6 seconds left. Gets the ball to Smiley for the NBA three. No good. And coming down with the rebound is Weinel. As the clock winds down to 0, the Campbell County Camels come to Cynthiana and will be heading back to Claryville with a 79-68 win over the Thoroughbreds. Breds made a couple of nice runs in this ball game, but were never really able to take control as Campbell County went on a couple of runs of their own and eventually win by this 11-point margin. But our guys never quit. You got to remember, we got down by 19, but the 19-point mountain was too high to climb. We invite you to join us now for our post-game show. We'll go over all the scoring and stats from tonight's game. We'll name our Jitty Construction Company player of the game, as well as have a chat with a member of the Harrison County coaching staff. All that coming up after this timeout. But once again, here on the Hilltop, your final score, Campbell County 79, Harrison County 68.